Hey guys, this is a ranked match. This was our first one at Conqueror. So, um, let's go into caster mode. And so this is prairie, so it's a super open map. Tons of sheep on this map. Meta is to go two scouts, as you see as our opponent going, because you can secure so much sheep. But when you go two scouts, you actually set your eco back pretty back, pretty far back, going for pretty far back, going for that second scout. Against a Mongol player, I would definitely say doing it 100% if you're not playing as Mongols, because it's going to really deny a lot of sheep from them, as well as secure secure a lot of food for you. And your villager lead, you still kind of maintain this villager lead. It's not um, an instantly pulling ahead by the Mongol player unless they insta drop their TC, which is rare, almost never happens. Um, So if you look into it, we're just doing our trade horse build, which is our fast H2 into a stable, into silver tree, into getting Keshik rushing as fast as we can across the map. Whether we can get any damage in or not, it does force our opponent to build barracks. Hopefully, ideally, you can get some damage in, but against malians, it's kind of doubtful that you're actually be able to get any damage in. And we're picking up a decent amount of sheep over here. We did run into his one scout, and we turned around. And he's doing a really good job of picking up all the sheep on like pretty much the whole side of the map. If you see my vision compared to his, what you can get done with two scouts on prairie is pretty impressive. That being said, we do pick up 13 sheep, which is going to be nice. We run into his scout. He sees our Uvu. And we're just going to aggro him. I hope he got turns into our TC. Which he doesn't. If you look at his vision, oops, yeah, he doesn't see our TC yet. Okay, so Mans is interesting because they're one of the civs that can just fast castle, sitting under their TC, not really commit to any aggression or anything, and it's hard to raid them because they could stay pretty protected. So I wasn't entirely sure how I was gonna deal with it. I felt like my best move was just going to be played fairly passively, get my trade going. My trade should be able to outscale him as long as he doesn't go for trade, which it didn't look like he was. Right now he could be going for trade, but we weren't really sure. And if he goes for trade, it's actually hard for him to defend it. I think he just outscales me if he trades, because I do believe Malian trades a little bit better. Till maybe like Imp, then some of my upgrades and stuff will kind of pull me ahead. But yeah, it's he can build walls, so there's some trade offs. But Melon could definitely compete with Mongols in terms of trading. So our build is still going. So it's that 9-2. Then we went 3 on the wood, and then we pull one more onto food, so we get 6 on food, 3 on wood, and then we rally one more onto gold, so it's a 6-3-3. And then from there, the idea is to rally until you have 10 on food, and then rally onto wood to have about 14, 18 villagers on wood, depending on how your booming is going. Then the status of the game. I don't know if you guys want to see this games like from my point of view, from my perspective with like my camera lock, but I just put it on caster mode just because the camera jumps a lot. It can be kind of jerky with like the replay feature. We're really late on our stable timing here. We totally forgot to drop it. That's why we pulled 2 villagers to kind of speed it up a little bit. But yeah, our Keshik timing is definitely slower than it should be. Not ideal. And we saw his Saharan trade network getting built up here, and he actually canceled it and builds it up here on his gold vein. I think this is now because he's actually spotted. Yeah, so he's actually spotted my stable, and he spotted my my age up in my TC. So I think that's why he decided to put the Saharan trade network on his pit mine, just a lot safer, secured it. Maybe there was just a misclick up here, and he thought differently. So this is where we see this second scout finally. We see he's got the rest of the sheep, which puts him in a grand total of a shit ton of sheep. Yeah, he's probably like, what is that? I don't know, 20 sheep? 25, maybe like 25, 26 sheep right there, at least. If not more. He might be up to 30. A lot of sheep on this map. So our first set of Keshik is out. Then we have our stable coming out. We have wheelbarrow on the way. Points wise, we've pulled ahead now. A silver tree set up. And we decided we're going to start trading immediately, basically, before we drop our range up. Just because, you know, this idle, or this fast castle play that he could have, I really have to be able to outscale it. He's going to get passive eco here. And definitely, it adds up. So, like, for example, his pit mine is 87. So that's basically, right now, he's worth 2 extra villagers. So his eco is actually up 2 villagers, which is on par with us because our Uvu is technically like a little bit more than 2 villagers in feudal. Silver tree is going, which is really going to help slingshot us. And our Keshiks are on the way. We got a little dive in, but we saw that he got the sand trademark work and he moved it. We see that there's Donsos out. If you look at our vision here, we see that there's a barracks and a stable. And that tells us he's going to be probably warrior scouts or possibly sofa, as well as barracks. We do see a range, but I actually didn't see it while I was playing. I figured he would go into a range. Since he's going for a stable and barracks, it's just normal for most players to go into a 1-1-1. But I try to pick this scout off here, and my unit's just derping around the forest. I don't know. And his warrior scouts over here is doing some damage, so we're just gonna try to do a little bit of damage with the con. It's it heals in between shots of my con, which is pretty funny. Yeah, damage is pretty much non-existent with the con against the warrior scout. So we are losing traders here, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're gonna have Keshiks and Mangadai rallying this way. Now that we see spearmen, and we saw those horsemen, you know, warrior scouts, so we definitely wanted to get a massive warrior scouts going to start, or warrior scouts, a massive Mangadai going to start being able to contest this. And we're rallying villagers onto wood here. We're up to 11, and we're not forcing an arch or a blacksmith drop here. We are trying to drop a tower over here as well. And so our Keshik is going to show up, and he's going to try to dip out of here. We do have a couple Mangadai will help team this up. If you look at the Fog of War, he's got a couple more scouts about to raid us. We're not privy to this information. He runs past us. But we're rallying more troops over, trying to find some pockets to hit. And we are bringing these Keshiks over, and we are going to bring them around. We want to see if we can see any villages rotating onto a next wood line. The wood lines are small here, so you can kind of find pockets of villagers. Over here, we see his warrior scouts, and we're kind of chewing him up with just one Mangadai, but it's just making him fall back. He doesn't have to really commit to anything here. We are dropping our blacksmith now. Our eco has pulled ahead significantly, and I mean, he's still got his pit mine, right, which is generating 113 a minute, so it's almost 3 villagers that he's got in terms of eco there. Oh, and then he's also got the cattle ranch. He's got 1 cattle ranch that's 84 a minute, so that's 2 more villagers. He's actually got 5 more villagers at this point, so it's like 37 to 39 in terms of eco. So it can be hard to keep tabs on this while you're playing, but he's doing his own sort of boom behind the scenes. So we both we're kind of in a weird spot because I want to get as much damage in at the same time, but I have to be really careful. My trade is super greedy right now, super exposed. We have some Keshiks over here on the side. We're starting to rally some troops, some Keshiks on both sides just to deal with any raids. And army comp wise, he's got 10 Donzos and 4 javelin throwers, and we can't really raid because of the Saharan trade network with the TC. He's got really good coverage of his base. You can see, let's see if I can select both of these. Yeah, so look, pretty much everything on his base is not raidable except for this mill and one house. Everything else is in range, so he's got a super defensive base. Try to come forward and see what he's got for army. We see it, we just quick box around it to see what it is exactly, and we see that there's a couple of javelin throwers, but there's a lot of Donzos. So we're getting our +1 upgrade here. I think at this point, I should have committed into some more infrastructure. I think it's a little bit of a mistake on my part, not committing to more infrastructure now. You know, we got an outpost, which is going to be nice. It's going to be helpful. We've got this Keshiks in the south. We're going to go try to get some raids in. And yeah, it's just this army value-wise, we have the same army value, but all of his army is right here. And my army's basically split at this point. And we're producing more units, so that's going to kind of give us a nice little defender's advantage here. And the double production Keshiks came in pretty clutch at this moment as well. But we're rotating to the next wood line. And he's leaving a base safe at home. And here comes the first raid on our eco. And unfortunately, Outpost doesn't have any upgrade on it. We've been using stone for troops instead. And we see that this army is pretty significant, and we're not going to be able to really protect the silver tree nor our traders if we keep our trade post here. So we're going to move it up to a little bit safer position. We get these wood line villagers to drop a tower. We do raid this mill. Unfortunately, we kind of lose track of these Keshiks, and they just kind of die under Saharan and TC as well as Spearmen. So a little bit of unnecessary loss right there. Definitely would have been good to keep them alive. He's paying attention over here. You can expect that from, like I said, Conqueror, that they got a better micro. And his spear throwers are doing a lot of damage. But we trade out, I want to say, pretty badly. But the only thing that is on our plus side is that we have Mangadai here, and we have a tower. It's getting its upgrade in. And we should be able to technically hold onto this. Like, he's got mostly spearmen here, a couple of Donzos, so he's just kind of retreating through arrow fire right now, and we got being careful with our Mangadai because we don't want to get sniped. We definitely can get sniped, and so we just try to get some picks here and there, and we're just gonna fall back and kind of reset. At this point, military, there's a huge swing. You know, losing those 4 or 5 Keshiks that I lost on his base for basically nothing was also really bad. But this is kind of where we're able to kind of shift a little bit of momentum. We are floating a ton of gold. Our traders have been going absolutely ham. And we're going to start buying resources. Our trade line has been cut in half basically in terms of like what we're getting out of it. But we're dropping a bunch of infrastructure. We've got 2 ranges cranking out Mangadai, and we've got stables constantly producing. We're trading resources to make sure we're keeping constant production going. And we've been dropping a couple of pastures here to make sure these villagers stay busy since our food is starting to run out. Yeah, at this point we can see like his army on the fringe here. Again, pretty beefy army, but it's mostly hardened Donzos. So we're not like, I mean, it's gonna be like rough to hold this, but I feel like with some towers and some decent micro, and with the reinforcements that are gonna be streaming in, we should be able to turn this. And so that's kind of what we're doing. We're just kind of fighting this here, and getting decent trade, I guess. But we got another tower here, and so every time he's trying to fight us here, he's basically under tower taking this damage. And I think most Conk players realize like fighting under tower is like really bad, but I almost feel like they overreact in some cases. In some sense, like he could have pulled these guys and probably just all in here on this tower earlier. But you can see that a lot of his melee army, the part of his army that actually burns down, has been destroyed, and now he's got to fall back. So that was actually a really big swing in our favor. Defender's advantage really came in clutch for us here, and we can harass this army as they retreat. But the second they turn, we've got to back out. They got a lot of spear throwers there, javelin throwers. So we're just gonna reset. But this time we've got a bunch of gold we can trade out in terms of resources. You can see we've been trading a little bit here, and we do have a really good bank of villagers on food. We pull some of our villagers onto wood here just to balance out our eco, and we've lost quite a bit of eco compared to him. It says we're 8 villages ahead at this point, but if we look at let me just pause real quick. We'll just look at an income per minute. We've got 900, 1400, 1800, and we've got 900, 1800, 2100, 2200. So actually, yeah, we actually are ahead. Even though our eco isn't technically ahead, in numbers, our eco in raw income is ahead. And it might be because these guys are still just getting online. Let's see. 30, 90, 90, 90. So these 3 at 90, that's 270. That's like 2 villagers a pop, 3 villagers. 2 villagers and a half, basically. So 2.5 times 4. So it's going to be like with 10 villagers there. And then this pit mine is generating, what's it generating? 113. This is just 1 villager. So he's getting into that point where he's almost full boom at this point, and the villager count that we see is not really reflective of how good his eco is. But on the backside here, we're trading resources, we're trading out gold. You can see we're buying food, selling gold, and just making sure we're getting constant military production going. Our army values are now almost even, and what a really big contributor to that was just that we invested in infrastructure. He's working off 2 ranges, 2 barracks, and a stable. And he's going to drop 1 more stable. And we're working off 3 ranges, 2 stables. But the big thing is we decided to go up to a couple more markets, get our trade really booming. He's pulling a villager to go build a market as well, it looks like. And then, we could sit here and fight this army from in front of the tower and try to save these couple of towers here. But right now, fighting under here, he's trading really bad. We did our attack speed arrow, and then we're just gonna fall back, and we're just pulling his army in at this point. We got reinforcements coming in, and then very quickly his kind of favorable trade turned sour really quickly, and the second you start retreating against the Mangudai force too, it's like almost like the worst thing you could do. You almost always want to just like commit to the push in if you have some ranged units like he does here, and so that's kind of what he wanted to do, but he has to fall back eventually. And then we got a nice mass here, but this is again a lot of javelin throwers. There's 13 of them. Our army is still mostly Mangudai. Our eco is booming behind this. Now we've put a really solid lead in terms of eco, and that's definitely going to give us a big advantage here. Getting up to 25, 30, 40 traders as soon as possible is really going to give us an edge. He does move forward here, drop some more infrastructure, and we're also dropping more infrastructure. We decided to go into more stables. We have a really big Mangudai mass. We've done a decent job of keeping them alive. And at this point, we're trying to go into Castle Ridge as soon as possible. It does get to a point where these balls of infantry really get tough to beat unless you have mangonels out. So, again, towers coming in on our outposts. This first stone node is a really big one, so our Uber hasn't run out yet, which is nice. And yeah, we're just trading. We've got towers along the way here. If we look at our vision, we look at his. He's got trades market up, and he looks like he's going to go in some sort of trade boom as well, but it hasn't really started. His cattle ranches are going. His pit mines are going, so he's getting decent income right now. If we look at, let's just pause it real quick. Let's see, 1,200, 1,900, 2,400, 2,500 resources here. and we're at 26, 31, 3,700 or 3,200. So yeah, we're definitely got quite a significant advantage in terms of our eco right now. And so now we're just rallying troops, dropping more infrastructure. Just one villager doing it constantly. I probably could have pulled a second one. And we're also dropping pastures. We're also dropping towers here by our main TC. One big thing that a lot of players forget, especially as Mongols, is how important it is to drop these buildings. We're ready to castle up here. A little bit of a mistake on my part, idling as long as I did here. That 10 seconds idle with 30 villagers is like 300 resources, so it's even more than that probably, right? 20 or 30 villagers, 10 seconds. Yeah, so it's like 300 resources idle right there. Now we do save our one villager that was building these extra towers from the Sofa raid. And he's just trying to get some damage in. And we get our castle age up. We knew this was going to be basically a push. Our army was rotating up to go deal with him, and we had our Mangadai. We were going to go flank with our Mangadai, but we're getting our Keshik upgrade and our Mangadai upgrade, and we're just going to garrison all of our villagers here. As you can see, they do quite a bit of damage here. There's nothing for him to really raid or get value out of. I mean, I almost feel like if he committed to a burn down, maybe, but I don't know. Would have been super all in. That might have been like the only answer that he truly had. Because now we're getting our castle age upgrades in, and our crow tie is going to drop. So we see him over here. Our Mangadai, we're going to go for raids, like to catch some traders, but he actually has just started trading. So we aren't able to pick up really any traders here. We pick up the first couple, which is nice because they don't even get the worth. That just becomes a sink. But we're just falling back. We're rallying our troops to the back behind our base here. Again, garrisoning our villagers. Taking this fight over here by our infrastructure. And his troops are all in under our TC, getting a lot of damage. And we decided to pull our Mangadai back. We do have our upgrades. Step Lancer upgrade is the only one that we need for our Keshiks. And you see, we're being as avoidant as we can in this fight because we have a bunch of reinforcements on the way. Army value-wise, we're ahead. We just have to make sure we don't take a bad fight here. You know, we're able to split our army and take advantage of like the positioning on the map, but we just have to be careful about how we do it. Here you can see most of his Donzos put to the back, so I decided to commit to a little bit there with the Keshik, and we're just wrapping around the side here. We drop our defense arrow while we retreat, just to reduce the damage. I mean, we lose quite a bit of troops there, but we can basically reconsolidate now. If he tries to push us with this, it's going to have a hard time. And so what we decide to do is take a couple of the Mangadai and all of our Keshiks that we have up. Oh, at least I thought all of them. I guess there's a couple over here. Maybe there's a couple over here. Yeah, okay, there's a couple Keshiks here and there. We never finished this tower, unfortunately. That would have been nice. We do get a Springwood up in this one. And we're dropping some towers in the front, dropping some more infrastructure in the back, priest on the way, 4 more stables, going to go up to 7 stables in total. But the idea with these Keshiks is that they can, you know, we're building a bunch of stables, so we're going to be able to start cranking out a lot more army real quick. And we have pretty much an all Mangadai army here, so what we need is Keshiks to really help frontline for them. And then these guys are going to be able to shut down this trade line, burn any buildings in the back, they can harass this pit mine, and he's got to kind of make a decision in terms of what he's going to do here. So in terms of trade, he's up to, it says he's up to 4 traders, okay. And we're up to 34 traders, okay. So that's why our gold eco's out of this world right now. And yeah, we're just looking for things to burn down. We don't run into his trader. He pulls back, he turns around this one trader because he sees our army. Again, probably a good move, but it might have been a little bit too much. I think it would have been better just to rally around and over. And we're going to start burning down this houses at the pit mine. And what this does is you can see it causes him to react with his army. He has a ram here, but he's committing basically all of his troops to this. And so we take a pretty good engage here, taking this fight. I wish I would have been more aggressive with my front army at this point, because I could have spotted out all of these villagers here. That's 24 villagers with my massive Mangadai. What is this? Like 18 Mangadai? Yeah, we would have done pretty quick work there. So we engage where we can. His army falls back, and as his army falls back, we push forward with this one. Again, just out of our vision here. Like, it's just right there. So really unfortunate that we didn't spot that out. This one thing you really want to do as well is spot out those extra TCs, extra wood lines. And so here we run into his army. We're just moving. We weren't A-moving. So we drop our defense arrow immediately as we react. Make sure we reduce the damages that we're taking here. And while we do that, our Keshiks are over here raiding his backline, healing up, getting raids in, and we're just going to go to the other side of the map. We know he's trading, so there should be some sort of node over there. He's looking to push us, it looks like, so he's got this big army up front. We have a priest with a relic, but he's not using it. We're getting a raid bounty, Yam network, and insulated helm. So we're getting our upgrades as well for our military upgrades. And you can see military upgrades wise as well. He's on his +1s, and we're on almost all university +2s now. So that's definitely a big deal. It helps out quite a bit. He's got a bigger army size, but army value wise, we're way ahead. Even though we have a split army right now, these guys are just, you know, doing damage, doing what they can over here. But he's gonna have a hard time pushing this. We've dropped a couple more towers. We've been diligent about dropping those. We're sending more monks out to pick things up. And we decided to pull our Kurultai forward. At the same, like right when we decide to pull our Kurultai forward is when he decides to pull his army up. So we both have the same kind of timing trying to go on here. We take our army to the north here to start pushing. We notice these villagers finally on our vision. And we run through all of this. We probably could have stayed there and done longer, but I'm actually kind of happy that I decided to ignore that and come all the way through. So our army's going to sit here, take this fight. We pull these Keshik, these 10-12 Keshik, to start fighting mostly the spear throwers. If these spear throwers are not shooting my Mangadai, it's just GG. He has to kill these Mangadai with the spear throwers. If you don't deal with the Mangadai, they will take care of the rest of your army. Especially in these numbers of 28. And our other force is coming around the back. I thought I might need them to come sandwich these spear throwers, but I wasn't going to, and I was just going to use them to hit this this wood line. So, all in all, a pretty good match. Got our tempo going and did a pretty good job defending it. Once you get past that crucial points of defending, you can kind of just slingshot your way through. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you on the next one.